A very good afternoon, guys. This is Vicky Francis from Credla Financial Services, having 6 years of experience in education loans. So today, I take this opportunity to answer all the maximum queries related to education loan and finances for MSN US with my best tool knowledge of experience of 6 years. So the agenda which we have for today for education loans, everybody, I hope you must be seeing the agenda on your screens itself. It starts with how to manage your funds. Then also will come to who should avail education loan, what are the tax benefits for education loan, when should you apply for education loan, then what are required documents, what expenses are covered under education loan, what is a sanction letter, can you get loan before I-20 or admission confirmation, does a sanction letter help for visa interview. Apart from this, if anybody else have any queries, please start posting your queries and I'll be able to answer them one by one. So one of the important factors in managing funds is education loan. It is a combination of all three, starting with scholarships, family or personal savings, and education loan. So before one plans for his higher education, he should see all the three factors, that is scholarship, also his personal savings, and education loan. Then who should avail education loan? Students applying for US in applying for MS in US. The average cost of education in MS in US will come around say 25 lakhs to 30 lakhs for 2 years. So again, a very huge amount, substantial amount required for students who are planning to do their MS in USA. This includes the total cost of education, that is tuition fees, living expenses, traveling expenses, and also insurance, including others. So students applying for applying for MS in US should apply for education loan, maybe as a backup. If they are having their own funds, they can apply for education loan just as a backup before they fly to US universities. They can keep it as a backup unless and until there is a problem, because going to US for higher studies is a lifetime opportunity, and financial aspects, they play a critical part in it. Again, this one of the important factors for availing education loan is it helps in tax savings. Most of them, they are not aware of the fact, like according to Income Tax Act 1961, whatever interest you pay on education loan is completely tax exempted. In simple words, it is the calculation is very simple. Whatever interest you pay on education loan gets deducted from your gross annual income. So you pay your taxes on the remaining amount. So one of the important point is tax benefits, because unlike other loans like home loans or say your personal investments, there is a cap for it. For personal investments like LIC, PPF and all other things, there is a cap of 1 lakh. Secondly, for home loans, there is a cap of 1,50,000. But education loan, there is no upper limit. The more interest you pay, the more tax benefit you get out of it. So education loan qualifies for tax benefits under Section 80 of Income Tax Act 1961. How to claim IT benefit, that is income tax benefit, is very simple. According to RBI guidelines and according to Income Tax Act 1961, wherever you apply, you just have to get the tax statement mentioning what amount of interest you have paid and what amount of principal you have paid. So you just have to show the certificates, and it is very easier for you to get the tax benefit. Moving on to next slide, that is when should you apply for education loan. Now this is a very interesting question, at least for students planning for USA. Now for a student who is planning for his higher studies in USA, the timeline actually starts 9 months to 1 year before he joins the college actually. First he will prepare for his entrance examination like GRE, TOEFL, then again he will apply for the universities, then he will apply for the admission letter, I-20, and then goes on for the visa. So it is a total timeline of 1 year, 9 months to 1 year, where a student so starting from giving entrance examination and till joining. So it starts in the month of October to next year September till he joins the colleges. So in India, in banks, one can only apply for education loans unless and until he doesn't have the I-20. This is RBI guidelines on each and every bank that he has to provide an admit letter, like the I-20 which we say in USA. Unless and until he doesn't have the I-20, he cannot apply for education loans in banks. Private players like Credila, who are specialists in education loans, here before even you apply for admissions in US universities, you can apply for education loan, which will help you in multiple ways. You can check your eligibility, like before you apply for X universities, you can check like what amount of funding you can get in terms of education loan. Secondly, the loan approval letter can help you for as a source of fund available document for getting in the I-20 or admit letter. Documents required for education loan. KYC means know your customer documents. In it, the minimal documents like identification proof, which can be a PAN card, passport, driver's license, then address proof, again any utility bill, then your signature proof. Signature can be verified from 3 documents, that is PAN card, passport, driver's license, or fourth option can be a bank verification note. Secondly, after KYC documents, academic documents, that is students, from standard 10 till date, whatever education the student have completed, he has to give a Xerox copy of all those documents. Next point, financial documents. In terms of financial documents, and depends, like if a co-borrower or a person who is taking the responsibility as a co-borrower or a guarantor is salaried or self-employed. So first, if he is a salaried employee, he has to provide recent 3 months salary slip, then 6 to 8 months of recent bank statements in which the salary gets deposited, Form 16 of recent 2 years, and maybe income tax returns documents. In terms of self-employed non-professional, self-employed person, they have to show their recent 3 years income tax statement with the bank statement whichever they are maintaining. Maybe if one owns more than one bank account, he can show he can submit multiple bank account statement just to for the financial records. Last point is collateral documents. Collateral means something to mortgage in terms of security. It can be property like house, bungalow, or FDs. You would be required to submit the Xerox copies of these documents also. One important point, whenever you apply for education loans in banks, you have to get it done the valuation of the property from outside, then a legal report from outside, for which you have to pay from your own pocket. So this is something which is not included in your processing fees which you are paying to bank. That is, you have to pay it from your pocket. Private players like Credila, you don't have to run around for your verification or evaluation of the property. You just have to submit the Xerox copies or the soft copies of the documents of the collateral, and it will get verified. What expenses are covered in education loan? Now, in a bank, very important question, complete cost of education. Students planning for abroad, a cost of education means a combination of all these points, that is tuition fees, living expenses, traveling expenses, book and study material, and insurance and other costs. Normally in a bank, if you apply for education loan, only you get a part of the complete cost of education, that is tuition fees, a part of living expenses. You won't get loans for traveling expenses or book or study materials or insurance and other costs. A bank only covers 100% of tuition fees, only a part of living expenses. That's it. So when he applies for education loan in a bank, he has to be very sure what is his complete cost of education, especially when a student is planning to study abroad. because countries like USA or say other countries, UK, Australia, expenses according to standard of living is very high. Maybe the tuition fees may be lesser comparatively to your living expenses. For MS in US, the average cost of education for tuition fees may come around $25,000 to $30,000 for 2 years. And for living expenses, the annual expenses will come around say $10,000 to $15,000 per annum. So huge amount, maybe if you talk in terms of Indian rupees, it may cost you around 10 to 15 lakhs also. So when you apply for education loan, you have to consider the facts like what actually the bank will fund up to. Does it cover tuition fees? Will it cover complete living expenses? Traveling, book and study materials, insurance? They are not going to cover that. Also, last point, margin money. In India, every bank who works, under RBI, Reserve Bank of India, their minimum margin money will be 5% to 15%. Now, what is margin money? Margin money means it will be your self contribution, like home loans. You apply for 100 rupees, you will get 80 rupees or 85 rupees funded from the bank. Rest of the 15 rupees you have to apply from your own pocket. It sounds like, say, taking an example of 20 lakhs, if you consider the average margin money also 10%. So 2 lakhs is what you have to pay it from your pocket directly to the university. You will get only 18 or 17 lakhs from the bank, and you have to manage the rest of the funds from your pocket. So imagine you lending up into a new country. You have to manage the margin money. The complete cost of education also you have to carry more money with you because you are lending up into a new country. So very important, margin money. You need to check what exact amount will be funded from a bank. On a sanction letter, they must be mentioning, okay, your X amount of loan is sanctioned. But 100%, 101%, they are not going to fund for your complete 100%. That is one, they will remove margin money if your loan amount or cost of education is 20 lakhs or low. If your cost of education is more, obviously, the maximum loan limit in a bank one can get is around 20 lakhs. Maximum nowadays it has went up to 25 lakhs, not more than that. So if your cost of education is 40 lakhs, okay, margin money factor won't matter that much. But if your cost of education is below 25 lakhs or 20 lakhs, and if you apply for 20 lakhs of education loan only, 15%, it ranges up to 5 to 15% of margin money where you have to pay it from your pocket. Private players like Credila, they fund for, they do not charge any margin money. You can apply for complete cost of education, including all these factors, that is tuition fees, living expenses, traveling expenses, books, insurance, everything. Where it shows, okay, this point comes under cost of education. What is a sanction letter? That is loan approval letter. Like if you're planning for MS in US, especially when you go for visa interviews, a very basic question is from which bank you're getting funding for your complete higher education. So there is a list of preferred lenders which each and every embassy has. So it should be the wherever you're taking the loan from, make sure that particular lender or the particular bank is listed within the preferred lender list of the embassy. Then in that sanction letter you will find details of loan, what amount of loan is sanctioned, at what rate of interest for this mortgage, then for which course and which university they have funded for. Then the validity. Normally a sanction letter is valid up to 6 months to 1 year. Can you get loan before I-20 or admission? Already, we have covered this point. In banks, normally you have to show the I-20 to apply for education loan. The bank will not even process your education loan unless and until you don't have an admit. So it is compulsorily RBI norms on each and every bank that you have to provide the I-20 or the admit letter to process the loan application. Private players like Credila, once you have once when you're sure that you're going in fall 2014, and once when you're done with your entrance examination, you can apply immediately to check your eligibility. And also if a loan gets approved within the time, the same loan approval letter will be helpful for your I-20 also and for your visa interview also. Process for applying for loan before I-20. I mean, it's very simple. Apart from admit letter, you have to submit all the documents. You submit your like KYC documents, financial documents, academic papers, collateral papers. It may verified within say 7 to 10 working days, and you would be intimated whether your loan is approved, yes or no. So very simple process, no hard and fast rule. How does sanction letter help in visa interview? So sanction letter is something, I mean, if loan approval letter from a bank or from any entity shows a proof of liquid asset. Secondly, it shows the seriousness of the student also. Like a student is borrowing money from a bank and then he's going for his higher studies. Thirdly, it becomes a liability of a student to repay also. Fourth, adds credibility to visa application as well. Now, education loans. The fine prints. I mean, why someone should take education loan? So it first is it covers the cost of education, including living and traveling expenses. Secondly, banks will offer you, or say some players will offer you to pay simple interest only during the course period, which normally doesn't happen in any other loan. But in education loans, you just have to pay unless and until you're studying in USA or in any country. One gets a provision to pay only interest amount during the course period, and the EMI actually starts after once the students complete his complete cost of education. In fact, after completion, say if the course duration is of 2 years, you can get additional 6 months of grace period, 3 to 6 months of grace period, where still you may be still paying the interest amount only, and thereafter the EMI starts. So you get a timeline of 6 months. It depends upon you whether you want to utilize that time period, yes or no. If no, you can directly start paying the EMI. This helps a student to gives the time for a student to get a job, I mean, according to his will, after completing completing his higher education in MS in US and working in a reputed organization. So third point, maximum term can be up to 10 years. You get a repayment tenure up to 10 years, 7 to 10 years in fact, where you can simply pay interest amount during the course period and EMI for the next within 8 years. In fact, if within this tenure, if one feels that he or she should foreclose or part prepayment the loan amount within this 10 years, one can do that. Then secured versus unsecured. In a bank, one can get up to 7 or 7.5 lakhs as an education loan without any mortgage, that is without any collateral security. The maximum limit over here will be 7 to 7.5 lakhs, not more than that. Private players like Credila, they even fund up to 10, 15, in fact for 20 lakhs also for top business schools or for elite colleges. Then eligibility parameters, simple student, that is the academics of the student, how brilliant the student is. Then co-applicant, what would be the parameters like, where is he earning, how much is he earning, where is he working. Then collateral, type of mortgage, I mean, if you're applying for 25 lakhs of rupees, how much collateral one can apply for. So how much collateral one can provide, like up to, in a bank, normally a bank will, if a bank asks for mortgage, normally it may ask for 100 to 125% of the loan amount. Say if you're applying for 20 lakhs, a bank may ask for a mortgage up to 20 or 25 lakhs. Then credit repayment scores, that is CIBIL. Now this is credit check. I mean, it is a body, Central Investigation Bureau India Limited, where you apply for any organization in terms of loan. The very first thing happens is your CIBIL score, that is your credit check. Like if the customer who has applied, if he has taken loans in past, how is the statement, past track records. I mean, it is a government body which helps each financial organization to know how is the credit history of that person who is coming for education loan. Then can apply to bank after securing a valid admission letter. Okay, so same thing again, once when a student gets the admission letter, he can apply for education loan. Processing time, now depends. I mean, this is in PSU banks, a student finds like the processing takes up to 1 month, maybe from 10 days. I mean, some banks They do it in 10 to 15 days, but normally the average time taken from a bank to disburse, actually to disburse, applying is one thing, to get the loan disbursed will take at least 20 to 30 days for taking the complete disbursement. So please make sure whenever you plan for education loan, you apply it before time. Normally this is the month of March, so students may start getting the I-20 now or in the month of April, and then they will be busy for getting in their visa interview schedules and all those pressure. Then before leaving into USA, they may have some plans to go around here and there. So very important, one of the important factors is you apply for education loan prior to time, at least 3 to 4 months before. Once when you get the I-20, I would suggest you apply for education loan immediately to avoid any hassles at the time when you fly to US. Because in visa interview, they may ask for the loan approval letter, that too originals. Xerox copies don't work in visa interviews. So very important. And before you fly to US universities, once when you don't complete your formalities in a bank for your education on disburse, and you flew to USA, you have to come back to India again to complete all those formalities. So suggestion, please apply much before you fly to USA for education loans. So that was from my end. Now anyone who wants to ask any questions related to education loan, please put up their queries. Ashwin has one question: what will be the maximum amount of loan offered? So we have covered this point in the topics, but still I'll repeat. The maximum loan amount that one can get from from any PSU bank in India is up to 25 lakhs. That too, this is State Bank of India who does maximum up to 25 lakhs. Rather than State Bank of India, any other bank in India will fund up to 20 lakhs only. Secondly, private players like Credila, there is no upper limit. So you can apply more than, if your cost of education for top allied colleges, it may go around say 40 lakhs, sometimes 45 to 50 lakhs. So you can apply for complete cost of education also. What is the rate of interest and tenure? The average rate of interest in the market right now starts from 12% to 15%. And the tenure, it goes up to 10 years. The question Ashwin has asked again: please explain tax benefit on the interest payable. Is there any ceiling on interest amount to be claimed in a year? I'll repeat the same point again. According to Income Tax Act 1961, whatever interest you pay on education loan is completely tax exempted. There is no upper limit. Now, this benefit can be taken by any person who is paying the amount. That is either the applicant or the co-applicant who is doing the repayment, and there is no upper limit for it. The calculations is very simple. Whatever interest you pay for an education loan, you take that amount, deduct it from your gross monthly income. Simple as that. Interest rates would be charged as per Indian standards or US? This question is asked by Vaibhav. Okay. So, but obvious, I mean, every bank or NBFC in India comes under RBI. So, it will be according to Indian rules only, that is RBI rules only. International loans, the rates will become around say 4 to 6%, but the rules depends, like you must have a US co-signer and something like that. So very difficult for one to get a loan from USA. So I would suggest if someone is planning to take a loan from US or abroad, they may apply for that loan, but make sure you also keep a backup of education loan from India as well. Is a co-borrower mandatory? Yes, for full-time courses, MS in US, but obviously it will be a full-time courses. Then for loan amounts up to 20 lakhs, 25 lakhs, co-borrower is mandatory. Once a student is planning for his full-time courses, a co-borrower becomes mandatory. A co-borrower free education loan one can only get if he or she is doing part-time courses, okay, where he or she will be earning while learning. And secondly, very for low loan amounts like loans below 4 or 3 lakhs, one can skip the co-borrower factor based upon the background of the student. If student is earning healthy and the loan amount is less and it is a part-time course, yes, you can skip the co-borrower. But talking about MS in US, where the cost of education will, the average cost of education will come around to 25 lakhs, and secondly, it would be a full-time course. A co-borrower norms becomes mandatory with a collateral. Normally, in PSU banks like India, the co-borrower thing becomes mandatory. Amit Kulkarni has asked a question. Usually, how long does it takes for a bank to approve the loan? The timeline, as discussed, it was our last slide. One can apply for the education loan and get the loan approved within say 15 to 15 days, and in next 50, it will take next a while for getting it disbursed. So repeating the same thing, whenever you think of applying for education loan in PSU banks, please make sure you apply it before time. At least once when you get the I-20, you immediately apply for education loan and complete the process of all the documentation and all the formalities, so that there is no hassle before you fly to USA universities. Private players like Credila, who are specialists in education loan, they do their processing time is very quick, minimum 5 to 7 working days to evaluate the file and to let you know the loan is approved, and in next 3 to 5 working days the loan can be disbursed. So in taking an average, depends upon the customers also, like if they are providing all the documentations correctly, every verifications goes positively, within 10 days, 7 to 10 working days, Credila can disburse the money also. Suggestion remains the same. Please apply for education loan much before. After applying for this question has been asked by Naveen K. After applying for bank loan, if we don't get admit, can we cancel the loan? Obviously. Very good question, and I would like to stress this point. Students or customers, they have very wrong perception of loan, especially education loan. Like if we apply, it becomes a liability. It is nothing like that. Unless and until you don't take the disbursement, or if you don't sign the loan agreement for the disbursement, you are not liable for any loan. Okay, it is very clearly clear that if you apply for education loan, it doesn't get compulsory that you have to take the disbursement. It depends upon you. Even if the loan gets approved, and if you're not satisfied with the terms and conditions what you got on the sanction letter, you can simply decline the loan. The only money which you would be losing will be the processing fees only. In fact, you can apply for couple of banks at a time to check their product, and when you get loan approved from both the sides, from X bank and Y bank, then you can choose from where you have to take the disbursement. It will not be a negative point if you do so. So students or customers, they have a wrong perception. If someone applies for education loan, it becomes a liability, or something goes wrong. It is nothing like that. You should always apply for education loan and should be aware of all the terms and conditions. Details of education loan on a flyer, get attractive rate of interest, you will get this and that. That is something like informative part. But education loan actually is a combination of verifications, scrutinization of documents, everything. So unless and until you don't have the loan approval letter, you can't just simply say, okay, this bank is offering less rate of interest, let's apply over here. Even this mentality is wrong. Not only rate of interest, but you should also focus on several factors. Okay, how much this bank is funding up to? Okay, if I apply for education loan over here, in how much time will I get the loan approved? So you should apply and see. Then how much funding the bank is going to provide to you. Then what are the services which they will provide if you take the education loan from there? Okay, if you plan to take the disbursement, that is in part wise, tranches wise, that the MS in US would be of 4 semesters. So normally students, they plan to take disbursement partly, like you apply for 20 lakhs, but you take 5 lakhs each and every semester. So what are the formalities for that? Will that bank will help me if I'm there in USA? So these all things are very important when you apply for education loan. Not only rate of interest, again rate of interest is very important, but several other factors about the services, about the complete cost of education, okay, what is margin money, all this combination one can check and then only go for the disbursement. So one can apply for education loan and see what are the services, what is the loan product, how it will be helpful for you, and then choose which bank to get the disbursement. Normally students go on reverse. They will apply for education loan and then they will come to know, okay, the service was not proper, okay, they didn't sanction my loan on time, so my admit got delayed, or my visa interview got delayed, and now I'm not going to US universities. So always keep a backup of 2 to 3 banks so that it is easier for you to choose options within them. Yes, so Naveen, you can definitely cancel the loan application if you don't get admit. The only thing which you're going to lose is only the processing fees. But believe me, it is worth it. How much will be the property cost? Vaibhav, verification cost. See, the valuation of the property will cost you around say 1500 to 3000 rupees. Secondly, there is a legal report on that property also. I mean, a legal report from a lawyer to justify that to the bank that the property has no problems whatsoever to mortgage. That will cost you around say 4 to 5000 rupees extra. So it will be a total of say valuation will be around say 1500 to 3000 and the legal report up to 4000 rupees. Secondly, very important point. Normally, if you apply for education loans in a bank with mortgage, that is a property with mortgage, then normally a bank does registered mortgage. So there are two types of mortgage: registered mortgage and equitable mortgage. Registered mortgage means before you take the disbursement or before you take the money from a bank, you have to pay stamp duties to the government to transfer the registration on the name of the bank. That will come around 0.5 to 3% of the market value of the property, which again is the duty of the customer to pay from his pocket to the bank or to the government, sorry, the stamp duties. So please make sure, very important question, what type of a mortgage does a bank does actually? Is it a registered mortgage? Again, registered mortgage where you have to pay stamp duties to transfer the registration of the property on the bank's name, which will be around 0.5 to 3% of the market value of the property. Okay. Second type of mortgage is equitable mortgage. Equitable mortgage means before you take the disbursement, you have to submit the original documents of the papers or original documents of the collateral to the bank or to the NBFC. So there is no fees whatsoever when you do equitable mortgage comparative to registered mortgage. Liquid asset means cash. Asmit has asked a question. Nationalized bank refused to give loans without an I-20. What should we do then? So again, as I said earlier, you can't apply for education loan in a bank unless and until you have a confirmed admit letter of the university. In USA we say it I-20. So private players like Credila, they do scrutinize the documents, or they do process the loan application before the I-20. So as mentioned earlier, options, you can keep option. You can apply to Credila, you can keep a loan approved and then decide from where you want to take the disbursement from. Vaibhav has asked a question, do I have to pay the interest before completing my studies? Now in banks in India, normally you may get moratorium period. That is, moratorium means no amount, nothing to be paid during the course duration. So it is nothing but, again, it may be helpful for a student to get a rest period, but again, this would be something very expensive for you. If you don't pay anything during the course period, it doesn't mean that the bank will forget that money. See, no one does business for loss actually. And whether it be a bank or a private bank, a nationalized bank or whatever, if you're getting moratorium period, that is if your loan tenure is of 10 years, and your course duration is of 2 years. So if you get moratorium of 2 years, that means if you get a provision that you don't have to pay during the course period of 2 years, it doesn't mean that they forget that money. What they will do is, they will, whatever interest is pending for that 2 years, that will be added to your loan amount. Giving a very short example, consider a loan amount of rupees 10 lakhs at 10%. So according to 10%, each year's interest comes around 1 lakh rupees. So if you go for a moratorium option, like you don't have to pay anything during the course period, so nothing paid during the 2 years, that means 2 lakhs is pending, is a liability on you, that gets added into your loan amount, that is 10 lakhs plus 2 lakhs interest outstanding, it becomes 12. Then you have to pay EMI on 12 lakhs, that means you have to pay interest on 12 lakhs. So very wrong perception that normally students have is, they normally go for moratorium. So think wise, like think from your benefit point of view also. If you pay simple interest during the course period, at least simple interest during the course period, what would be benefit? What are the benefits? First is, you don't have to pay interest on interest once when you complete your studies. Secondly, it helps to build good credit history also. See, normally when you do your MS in US, some students may do their jobs over there in US, or some students may return to India. I mean, those are youngsters. I mean, they may plan to get married, to settle down in their career or in their life, and they may require certain other loans, might be a personal loan, a car loan, or a house loan to get ahead. So if you haven't paid anything during the course period, it will show interest outstanding in your credit history. But if you at least pay simple interest during the course period, it will, the CIBIL report, that is the credit history report, will show, okay, the repayment has been done on time, there is no problem whatsoever. So very important is what you choose actually. One can choose a moratorium offer in a bank, but I would suggest at least go for a simple interest period. In fact, if you have provisions of your parents, you can directly start paying EMI. You do take three calculations: moratorium, simple interest, and immediate EMI. The maximum money where you can save is in immediate EMI option. Also, how to save during this education loan is, you can prepayment, like you can foreclose the loan amount anytime during the tenure, that is 10 years, or you can even do part payment also. If you don't have complete amount to be paid in one shot, you can pay it partly, like 1 lakh, 2 lakhs, whenever you have it. What are the interest rates? As said earlier, the interest rates in current market is starting from 12% to 15%. Any idea about interest rates by Credila? Tejas Patil. The average rate of interest of Credila, yes, it is 13.5%. For students going to MS in US, like players like Credila, they have special education loan products where they can fund up to 20 lakhs without mortgage. I mean, if a student, I mean, Credila has, it reaches around say 26 locations where it is available. 13 of it branches, and 13 other locations where they have their own employees coordinating from HDFC. So few other locations, around say 63 locations in India, we can including that locations. Second point is, if a student is planning to do MS in US, then they have a list of university. We can fund up to 20 lakhs without collateral. In these terms, the rate of interest would be 13.75. So the average rate of interest starts from 13.5%. Can we get loans from two different banks? This is the question asked by Suprita, sorry. So no, two different education loans on the same course is illegal according to RBI. Like if you're planning for MS from Carnegie Mellon University, and if you think that you will apply 20 lakhs, your complete cost of education is suppose 40 lakhs in Carnegie Mellon. If you think like 20 lakhs you will apply from State Bank, and 20 lakhs you will take it from Union Bank, no. It is illegal according to RBI. So please make sure you apply for complete, according to cost of education, you can apply for only in one bank. Players like Credila, they fund up to loans more than 20 lakhs also. If no mortgage is there, then what can be done regarding the collateral part? Fawad has asked this question. See, depends now. In a bank, as I gave the cap, if you're studying in India, you can get up to 4 lakhs without collateral, and if you plan for your higher studies in abroad, you will get up to 7.5 lakhs without mortgage. So it depends, like what cost of education is incurred for your MS in USA. The average cost of education will at least come around 25 to 30 lakhs. Players like Credila, considering, credit scoring factors like academics of student, then country and course, then the profile of the co-borrower. So with these three factors, they fund up to 20 lakhs also without collateral. In fact, they can deviate above that as well, depending upon the profile, case to case basis. Like if the student is very strong, his academics are really very strong, he's going to top elite colleges, the co-borrower who is supporting him has good income per month and can suffice the repayment very easily, then yes. And MS in US, if they is planning for a reputed college, that is Carnegie Mellon, taking an example, Carnegie Mellon from US and doing MS over there, 20 lakhs one Credila can fund, which is their normal product nowadays for MS in US, and it can go beyond that as well, taking a deviation very simple. Dipesh, is this a cause for concern? See, I didn't got your question correctly, but still I'll try to answer it. If you think like education loan is a concern, or if you apply for it, no, it always adds on adds on as a support. See, cost of education for MS in US, it may come around say 25 to 30 lakhs, and going to USA for your higher education is a lifetime opportunity. So keeping a backup is always necessary. Then even if you take an education loan and if you think the repayment is not quite possible for you, you can foreclose the loan amount at any point of time. Secondly, you get a provision of taking the loan tranches wise also. Like you can apply for 20 lakhs, but it depends upon you if you want to take the money semester wise, like September to January one semester, then another semester, then another semester. So you can take 5 lakhs in 4 different tranches. In fact, normally when the student applies is planning to do MS from USA, normally the students they get stipends, or they get jobs on campus also. So if you feel that you are able to manage your last semester or couple of semesters from your own pocket, you can simply decline the loan. But always suggestion is you keep things as a backup. Vishal has asked a question: does the solvency certificate helps in getting education loan? No. It is, what is a solvency letter? It is a proof of total assets. Like if someone has a property, then a car, then gold, then cash, you will take all these things and you will go in front of a bank manager and you'll keep it, and he will certify that as on 23rd March 2014, Mr. Vishal is solvent for this amount of money. But a solvency letter, it is a proof of total assets. So a solvency letter is not related to education loan actually. It is not nowhere going to help. Now education loan, it depends upon multiple factors. You can say it credit scoring, like academics of the student, then which university and then country of study, then what type of mortgage, that is what type of collateral you're offering for education loan, how much is that, then who is the co-borrower, what is his earning, where is he working. So it is a combination of all these factors. Divesh has asked a question: does the interest percentage increases once the loan is sanctioned, or it stays the same? Now nowadays there are two types of rate of interest. One is floating and second is fixed. According to the current condition, normally the students or the customers, they opt for floating rate of interest only, because at this point of time, whatever would be the floating rate of interest plus 2% will be the fixed rate of interest. So the average rate of interest of floating right now in the market is around 13%, 13.5%. So if you go for fixed, it would be much more costlier for it. So if you choose floating rate of interest, okay, if you choose floating rate of interest and during the loan tenure, if the market changes, or if Reserve Bank of India, that is RBI, if it changes its norms, or if there are changes in from RBI, or drastic changes in marketing conditions, yes, the rate of interest changes. Maybe it will go higher. In fact, if it goes lesser, it will decrease also. So one of the benefits of floating rate of interest is if it get decreases, if there is any changes and if the rate of interest goes low, it will be effective on your rate of interest also. So it depends if you are taking floating rate of interest. Shashank has asked one question. Hi, I have secured admission for MS plus PhD in UCSB, but have told anything about funding. Will I be eligible for funding for 1 or 2 years or so? See, depends. I mean, according to your whatever would be your cost of education, it would be included all. So if you're not sure about your scholarships, or if you're not sure about your stipends, you can apply for complete cost of education, and then later on you can decide how much disbursement you actually need beyond the from complete cost of education actually. So it depends upon your thing. Supriya, until how many days will the loan certificate be valid? See, a loan approval letter or loan sanction letter generally is applicable. I mean, it is valid for 6 months. Generally, 6 months. It can be extended up to 1 year. See, I mean, it is very simple. If you apply for education loan, if it gets sanctioned, and if the timeline goes of 6 months, you just have to resubmit the necessary documents again. Maybe you have to pay the processing fees again. In Credila, I mean, if you apply, the sanction letter can be valid from 6 months to 1 year also. But if there is a timeline gap between that, we may ask for the recent financial documents at least. Raghavendra, sorry, has asked a question. After getting the loan, how funds will be distributed to the students? Very good question. Now education loan, the word itself shows like we are funding for education. To make sure that the funds which is being disbursed is utilized for education loan only. So disbursement goes in two different parts. Okay. So whatever amount belongs to the university, like the tuition fees or the books or students staying on campus in the university. So in simple words, whatever fees belongs to the university will be directly deposited to the university. Maybe a demand draft in the name of the university, or wire transfer directly in the university's account. Secondly, whatever are the expenses related to this cost of related to the education, like living expenses, traveling expenses, insurances, this can be directly deposited in the student's account also. Lastly, if the student has already paid the fees from his pocket to the university, and if he wants education loan of the amount which he has paid to the university, that can be considered as a reimbursement, and in this case the money can be transferred to his bank account directly, or it can be given directly to the student or to the co-borrower. So in terms of reimbursement, but where the student has already paid the fees from his pocket, so you can take an option of reimbursement also. Can I apply for a loan before I get my 20, or only on the basis of my admit letter? In banks, normally they will require a confirmed admit letter, and according to my experience, it will be an I-20 in terms of USA. You did not speak about the interest rates offered. Gaurav, yes, I did. I did spoke about the interest rate. The average rate of interest in the market currently starts from 13.5, or say, considering all the other facts, from 12% to 15% in the market right now. Upper limit, again, maximum will go around 25 to 30 lakhs in a bank. Only State Bank does around 25 to 30 lakhs. Rest of the banks, they have a cap up to 20 lakhs. Private place like Credila, there is no upper limit. You can apply for more than 30 lakhs or 40 lakhs also. Do we have to start paying back the amount while we are studying? Harsha. It is Harsha, right? So do we have to start paying back the amount while we are studying? Normally a bank does offer moratorium period. Again, I guess I have already covered this point. You can get a moratorium period where you don't have to pay anything during the course period. Second option is simple interest rate, that is you only pay interest amount only during the course period and thereafter you start paying the EMI. So depends, I mean depends upon you, what repayment option do you require actually, not just you don't have to pay so you want moratorium. Think like, do you really want to pay, I mean do you really need moratorium actually? If not, then I would suggest go for simple interest actually. What do we have to show as funding for I-20? Fixed deposits or savings account? The question by Ashmeet. See, normally in USA, the I-20, it has been given by the US Department of Justice, which is again a government body of USA. So the verification and scrutinization done by US team is very strict. So I mean things like savings account or fixed deposit. See, if the average cost of education for US MS would be around 25 to 30 lakhs, it may be possible for very few people to show this amount of money available in their bank account which with proper transactions, or maybe such a huge fixed deposit into their bank account. But normally students, average students, they, I mean say normally middle class people, they don't have so much amount of money available in their savings account or as a fixed deposit. So, and you can't do like you borrow it from someone and put it into your bank account and show it to US embassy or say show it to US universities. They'll simply reject your profile. Okay, so one of the options is you can directly show the loan approval letter before you apply for education loan. This is possible in private place like Credila, where you can apply much before your admission. You, in fact, nowadays Credila has started providing solvency letters also. So if you think like the university will give you an admit based upon your solvency letter, okay, go ahead with solvency, or you can simply take the loan approval letter. Can we mortgage parents' properties to get education loan? Obviously, you can do so. If we have fixed deposits around 70 lakh, then how much we can get through a bank? See, it doesn't matter if you even have 70, or say even if you have a FD or a property of 1 crore, worth 1 crore, maximum what is going to get is whatever would be the upper limit of that particular bank. As repeated again, State Bank offers around 25 lakhs and other banks, they offer up to 20 lakhs only. It doesn't matter what type of collateral you offer and what type of co-borrow you offer. They are not going to offer you loans more than 25 lakhs. So you can always think of an option like Credila where they fund more than 20 lakhs also. We have our property in village which comes under Gram Panchayat. I contacted Credila and they said like Credila don't support those properties. Is there any way in which Credila can provide me the loan? See, these are the terms and conditions. Normally Credila does not accept properties which comes under Gram Panchayat rules and regulations. So there are, the next option would be you can provide a proper collateral, maybe from municipal limits of your relatives or so, and try once again for your education loan. I have personal funds for first year. Can I get loan approval for loan for second year? Shashank has this question that he has funds for his first year, but can he get approval for the loan for second year? He can do so. See, you can definitely do that. You can keep the loan, you can apply for the education loan and you can keep the things ready with you. So one of the factors, as we were discussing, that for how much time the loan approval, how much the sanction letter is valid for. See, if you apply right now and if you don't take the disbursement in the next 6 months, the sanction conditions won't be valid, the sanction letter won't be valid. And if you think that once when you go ahead, go in USA, and then you will apply for education loan, it would be very difficult for you to manage from there, because you have to come back to India, then you have to complete all the formalities of signing in front of the manager and then taking the disbursement. Again, going from USA to India, coming and going from India to USA will cost you around 25 to 50,000 rupees. So very expensive. So what you can do is, Very simple. You can apply for education loan, and you can take small amount of disbursement only. Like you apply for 20 lakhs, you take couple of lakhs as disbursement, and keep the rest of the funds as a reserve. So if you think that you have your own funds, and uh, uh, if you want the disbursement next year, no problem. You take the minimum disbursement, and then you come back and contact them that you want the disbursement for 8 lakhs or 9 lakhs now, then go ahead. So you can do like that, but very important that you have to take at least minimum disbursement to keep the loan sanction conditions valid. If you don't do such, and if you come back again, you have to apply when you come back from US, and you have to come back in India to apply for that education loan. And also one more point, see, if you have your own funds, that is your personal funds, I would say rather than using your own funds, apply for complete education loan. Because uh, say if your complete cost of education is 30 lakhs, and if you're paying 15 lakhs from your pocket, that money once paid, gone to the university, is gone. You're going to get nothing out of it. In fact, there won't be any savings if that was the only savings with you. So you can keep the amount with you only. Okay, and you can apply for complete cost of education so that your savings remains as it is. Okay, secondly, you get tax benefits out of the education loan, because obviously the interest on 30 lakhs would be even if you take 12% also, it would be on a higher side. So the co-borrower from your end, the person who is a taxpayer to Indian government, will get more tax benefit out of it. So, and your savings remains as it is. And at any point of time later, if you think that no, I don't need to take disbursement of such, you can foreclose the loan amount. And very important, you can take the disbursement partly, that is tranches wise. You don't, there is no need for you to take there is no compulsion, or there is no rules or regulations that you have to take the complete disbursement. You can take it partly. So these are the provisions. So I would say, rather than using your own funds, go ahead for education loan. You can, I mean, people have a lot of plans what to do about their investments. Even if you take the uh, smallest example also, you take make that take that amount and make it an FD. Nowadays the interest from FD is around 9% or 8%, and you will get education on 13%. So you can do such things also. I am looking for 30 lakhs loan. What is the best option according to you? I heard that Credila loan is not considered authentic in the visa interview. Please clarify. See, I mean, I guess you have the wrong information. This is Karthik. See, Credila is one of the preferred lenders of USA. Okay, and you can simply check on the websites or from the embassy itself, like whether they do have Credila listed in their preferred lenders list. So 30 lakhs, if you think so that Credila is not there, I mean, it is wrong actually. Credila is one of the preferred lenders. You can keep option, you can apply to some other bank, and you can check whether they actually fund up to 30 lakhs, yes or no. What would be the margin money in them? But I would say at least keep the loan approved with Credila. Check again, once again with the university, with the embassy, because I'm 100% sure we are one of the preferred lenders of USA, and there are thousands of students who have gone to USA by taking education loan from Credila. In fact, on the website you will see testimonials of the students who have taken loan from Credila, and they were successfully able to complete their studies, and now they are earning very handsomely. So either, I mean, if you're following a consultancy or so, please make sure you have the right information. Am I allowed to apply for a loan before I get my final SEM mark sheet? Depends. Now, this has been on a case by case basis. In a bank, they may hold your case and they may ask for the complete mark sheet xerox, and they may not even process also. So you may need to check. First of all, I would suggest directly go ahead and check with them. Okay, I don't have the mark sheets right now with me. Would you process the loan application? In fact, if you don't have your mark sheets, would you be having the I-20 with you? So again, if you don't have the I-20, you can apply for you can't apply for education in the bank. So one thing is, you can apply from Credila. Check with them. I mean, to the locations, okay, you have, I don't think so. Finals and mark sheet, it can be one of the pending things which can be collected later on also. At least you can verify your rest of the documentations, let the process get started. Amit Kulkarni, see what percentage of total cost is traveling, insurance, book and stationery? It may be around, say, at least 20% of your cost of education. At least. Because see, going to USA one-sided would be around 25,000 rupees, the flight tickets. Okay. Books, you people know it better, what kind of books you would be requiring, stationery. Insurance is one of the expensive things where you have to spend up to 35 to 70,000 rupees to do that insurance things. So again, very costly. 10% or 20% would be within the cost of education. Nagarjuna Reddy. Nagarjuna Reddy has asked a question. If I have to pay 50 lakhs, can I take multiple loans from same bank or different bank with my name as applicant and in another my parents as applicant? See, as said earlier, I mean, you can't apply for two different education loans for the same course. Okay, so it will be illegal according to RBI that you can't apply for two different courses, two different education loans for one same course. And secondly, the upper limit of the education loan from banks are maximum 30 lakhs or 25 lakhs. So again, considering the fact that in the market nowadays only Credila is funding for complete cost of education, and also there is no upper limit, you can apply and you can check their terms and conditions. Can we show stock and insurance for proof of finances? This is the question asked by Kaushik. Can we show stock and insurance for proof of finances? See, insurance, if you have an insurance of, say, if you have taken an insurance of 5 lakhs, doesn't mean that you have a collateral value of 5 lakhs. For insurance, it will be the value of surrender value. Like in simple words, up to what amount of money you have paid into premiums. So there is a value called surrender value, which comes after 3 years when you pay insurance, when you pay a premium properly. So that the surrender value of that, if you pay, say, if you have taken an insurance policy of, say, 5 lakhs, and if you pay 10,000 rupees per annum for that, or say 20,000 rupees per annum for that insurance policy, the surrender value you have to pay at least till 3 years. Then it will be, say, 60,000, and the surrender value would be less than that. So the actual mortgage value will be less than 60,000 rupees. So I don't think so for a loan amount of 20 lakhs or 25 lakhs, insurance is possible. As far as stocks are concerned, you have to check directly with the university. You have to directly check with the banks, if they are accepting the stocks, because there are types of shares or stocks. In fact, if you're talking about shares, like A scripted shares or B scripted shares, so depending upon those, they might be accepting some of them. So you have to check directly with the bank. It depends upon case by case basis and type of shares. For banks, the loan up to 7 lakhs needs to be guarantee mortgage property. What is that limit for Credila? Gaurav. Depends. Credila has multiple products. Unlike bank, our product matrix is very different. We have more than 5 to 6 products. It depends upon the university, course and the student academics. So we can fund up to 20 lakhs without collateral for a student going to MS in US. Tejas Patil has asked one question. If university is not final right now, we apply for education loan gets approved. If after some time we receive admit from letter university, then okay, so you can change it. If you have changed the university, the process is very simple. You have to go back to the bank and you have to resubmit the documentations for which college you have changed. Submit the recent I-20 for where you have changed the college, and accordingly it can be changed also. This tax exemption benefit is for person working in India only. Yes, it is, because this Income Tax Act is applicable for the students working in India. The customers or the person working in India. Someone earning in USA or abroad, they will be liable to pay for their taxes to that particular government of that country, not India. So yes, I mean the tax exemption benefit is for persons working in India only. Is margin money a norm for every bank, Raghavendra? Yes, it is. Margin money is applicable for every bank which comes under RBI. It starts from, it will range between 5% to 15%. And it is a norm for each and every bank. What is the approximate interest rates charged by institutions like Credila? 13.5% is the average rate of interest. How can I get loan from US agencies? Again, I mean, it depends. I mean, if you have a US co-signer and based upon the universities also. So very difficult for one to get it. It is not everyone's cup of tea to get loans from US agencies. Maybe the interest rates would be very attractive, but very difficult to get education loans directly from USA. What is the total time required for visa plus loan? See, for US visa, once when you get the I-20, you have to book it before prior to 1 month for your actual visa interview. So I would suggest for loan, you apply before once when you get the I-20 in banks. In Credila, you can apply before I-20 also to check your eligibility. So I would suggest before you actually go for visa interview, take a time and start your process immediately with the bank. Get in touch, complete your formalities, keep the documentations ready. See, the documentation are the same which actually you are sending the set of documents. You would be sending your proofs to US universities also, your academics papers, your ID proofs, your academic documents to the US university also. Same set of documents are required for education loan also, your finances and everything. So I would suggest take a Xerox copy, simple, make a copy of all these documentations, apply for education loan, and at least see, are you eligible for education loan, yes or no. Even if you're there, it is not compulsory on you that you have to take the disbursement. So it acts as a backup also to you, and you will feel confident, in fact, before you go for your visa interview also, that you have finances available with you. What is the minimum criteria for the co-borrower as in his or her salary? It depends upon the loan amount you apply for. If you are applying for 20 lakhs or 25 lakhs as an education loan, and if the person is earning around say 15 or say 10,000, there are more chances of getting rejections, because normally in education loan we at least see the income of the person should at least would be at least able to suffice the interest amount during the course period. So very simple, whatever interest amount will be there per month during the course period, the income of the co-borrower or the salary or the income of the co-borrower should be more than that. And also the loan upper limit also depends upon the salary. One of the important factors for education loan, if you're applying for 30-40 lakhs or say 25 lakhs for education loan or say 15-20 lakhs, co-borrower's income is very mandatory. Could you elaborate on market value? Market value means the value currently of the market of the property which one can get easily. Government value are always less than the market value, and market value is something, I mean, the whatever value going on in the current market duration. Like if a property located in a city area, the market value will be much higher than the government value. Whether we can get interest subsidy? Yes, normally in banks nowadays there is a rule of IBA, Indian Bank Association. The family income of the people which is less than 4.5 lakhs, they get interest subsidy from the bank. So you have to check it with the local banks for wherever you're applying. These things you should check before you apply for education loan. Is the sanction letter issued in the name of the student or my dad who would apply for education loan? Since you have to mention that I will have to show the sanction letter, it will be in both the name. You will be the applicant, that is you are the first borrower, your father as the second co-borrower who will be responsible for it. So it will be in both the name. You as the student as the applicant, and your father or your mother or your siblings as the co-borrower. I mean the people, the second person who is there on the application to support you will be the co-borrower. So it would be in the name of both. After getting the loan, how funds will be distributed to the students? I have already covered that. What is the total time required for visa plus loan? Already done. What are the interest rates? Done. Who is a co-borrower? Co-borrower means the person anyone between your family members or relatives who will be responsible to pay the interest amount during the course period, or as liable as the loan borrower. So it can be anyone between your immediate family members, that is father, mother, brother, sister, who are income earning person. In banks, normally they accept immediate family members as a co-borrower, but private players like Credila, they do even accept distant relatives as co-borrower also. I guess we have covered all the points. I have covered all the questions. So in case of any further inquiries related to education loan, you can directly call us on our toll free, that is 1800, that is 1-800-209-3636. You can call on the toll free number and you can uh, inquire about education loan from Credila. And in fact, if anybody has any queries regarding education loan, if they want to email it about, so they can always email us on loan@credila.com for inquiries regarding education loan. And you can visit our website also, that is www.credila.com. I hope this session was helpful for each and everyone. I wish all the best to all the students who are planning for their higher study this year. All the best. Thank you so much for this opportunity.